Hello, I'm Michelle and welcome back to Somewhere in Bookland. This is going to be my first video challenge for the Biannual Bibliothon, and that is creative book recommendations. I couldn't think of anything super creative, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend 6 books. I'm going to pick a book to start with that I really enjoy. I'm going to recommend that book, let you know what that book's about. Then I'm going to take the first sentence of that book, read it aloud, and then choose a book that I think is kind of similar to that sentence, or that sentence reminds me of, and recommend that book. And I'm going to keep recommending each book from the previous book's first sentence until I've hit 6 books total. I chose 6, which is a random number, because I wanted to recommend 5 books based off the first sentence, but I have to choose the first book. So there's the 6th book. So I'm just gonna get started. The first book that I chose to recommend is a Cinderella retelling, and that is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This book is about this girl, Elle, who grew up loving Starfield, and Starfield's either a Star Trek or Star Wars type show. I'm not exactly sure which one, but she grew up loving it and watching it with her dad. But then her dad ends up passing away when she's younger, and she grows up with her stepmom and 2 stepsisters. She sees a cosplay contest for Starfield, as they're now making it into a new movie, and so they're doing a lot of promotion about it, and so she knows she has to enter because she has an amazing Starfield cosplay. The prize is an invitation to the SelseyCon ball and a meet and greet with the guy who's going to be playing the Federation Prince Charmander in the new movie. This book also follows Darian Freeman, the guy who will be playing the prince, and how he himself is a huge Starfield fan, but he's being told to act like he's not, and so because of that, Starfield fans have been writing him as just another incompetent heartthrob that's just going to ruin their favorite series. Darian and Elle, through a twist of fate, ends up talking, and neither of them knows that the other one is who they are. Darian doesn't know that Elle is the runner of this blog that isn't Darian's biggest fan. Elle doesn't know she's talking to Darian, the guy who is going to be in Starfield that she's hating on in her blog. This is a cute Cinderella retelling, and I really enjoyed it. So the first sentence of this book is, "The step monster is at it again." So I'm going to go find a book to recommend, and I'll be back. And the book I chose is Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. This is a middle grade book that I have loved literally to pieces. Literally to pieces. Like, literally to pieces. This is another Cinderella retelling, which, I mean, Step Monster is where I got this, because from the first sentence I was thinking evil stepmoms, which is why I chose this one. This book follows this girl, Ella, whose mom died when she was younger, and her dad gets remarried to this really evil lady, and she has 2 daughters. So she has her 2 stepdaughters, she has 2 stepsisters who are, again, evil girls. And her dad doesn't die in this one, but he is away traveling a lot because he's like a businessman. And one thing I love about this retelling of Cinderella is there are ogres, there are centaurs, there are giants. She learns multiple different languages. She falls for the prince, obviously. That's kind of like the Cinderella thing. And I just love it. I love it so much. The movie is okay with Anne Hathaway. It's okay. You kind of have to judge it separately than the book. The book is amazing. And in this book, she's cursed. Ella's cursed, where she has to obey anything anybody says. And obviously that comes into play. I think that added a really cool element to the whole retelling. So it kind of causes problems like with her step family. It causes problems with her relationships. I love this book so much, so much. The first sentence of this book is, "That fool of a fairy Lucinda did not intend to lay a curse on me." So I'm thinking with this one, a book either about curses or about fairies. Let me go look, I'll be back. And for this one, I chose The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. The reason I chose this book is because fairies, first off, and second, there's not really a curse in here that I can remember, but there's this thing called a geas, I think, a geas. It's Geas, and it's kind of like a blessing or a curse. It could be positive or negative. It's something a fairy bestows upon someone, but they can twist it to how they want. So you have to like really know what, like, it's kind of like, you know how they always say like genies can twist wishes, and so you have to be super specific. Well, this is kind of how that is too. They can try to twist it, and so it could be a curse in some senses, so I'm choosing this book. This book is about this girl, Jude, who has two sisters. What is it about two sisters? Anyways, this book is about this girl, Jude, who has two sisters, and her sisters are kidnapped when they're young and taken to the High Court of Fairy. So Jude grows up there, and all she wants to do is fit in with all the fairies, but she's human. She's not even half fairy, so she doesn't really fit in well. And these fairies aren't like nice little fairies. These are like the evil fairies that I live for. Prince Carden, who she kind of grows up with, does not like her. And in order to secure her spot within the court, she has to kind of defy him and go up against him. She kind of becomes entangled in all the court going-ons, and it's such a good book. I need the second one so bad. I cannot wait for The Wicked King to come out. But yes, this book, so good. Definitely recommend this book. Okay, so the first sentence is actually in the prologue, and that is, "On a drowsy Sunday afternoon, a man in a long dark coat hesitated in front of a house on a tree-lined street." So I know who this man is, but going just off the first sentence, I'm thinking I need to find a book with like a mysterious man in it, or a man of mystery. I think I have an idea for this one. For this one, I chose A Place in the Sun by R.S. Gray. I chose this because this is a new adult romance book, and in like almost every new adult romance book, the main guy is mysterious. He's a mysterious, sexy stranger that they don't know, and then they get to know him and they help him unravel all his burdens, which, mysterious stranger, mysterious man, that's how I'm connecting them. I love R.S. Gray's books. This book is kind of a companion novel to a couple other books. She has this book, Scoring Wilder, and then from that book there's two companion novels, and they're like the Summer Games books that are kind of like based in the same world. And then this book follows one of the siblings in the second Summer Games book, if I'm correct. I think I'm correct, or in one of the Summer Games books. So it's kind of like we see somebody that we've already seen before in one of her other books, and I love that so much. So this book is about this girl, Georgie Archibald, whose mother wants to set her up with someone so bad, and Georgie ends up running away to Italy, and her plan is just to lie low, eat a whole bunch of gelato, and just relax. But then she ends up passing out and waking up in the bed of this mysterious, romantic looking, beautiful man, Gianluca. The blurb on the book says that after going out of the way to rescue her, the former London financier turned mysterious recluse makes it clear he wants nothing to do with her. So mysterious recluse, mysterious man. but she's saying, I don't want your heart, I'm just curious about you. And together they help restore this building, and I think we know what's gonna happen from there. I love this book. It's one of my favorites of R.S. Gray. It's set in such a beautiful place, and like I said, since I felt connected to these characters, well, to Georgie, because I had seen her in another book, I just loved this book. This is one of my favorites of hers. So let's see what the first sentence in this book is. The first sentence in this book is, how was no one else saying this? It's funny because it goes on to two people making out, but we're gonna ignore that part and we'll just stick with, how was no one else saying this? So I'm thinking, I don't know, either something where somebody can see stuff that other people can't, or I'm kind of thinking about like books that I can easily predict, and it's kind of like, how are you not seeing what I'm seeing? But I tend to not like those books, so I don't think I want to recommend them. I don't know, this one might take me a while. I'll be back. So for that first sentence, I decided to go with Odd Thomas by Dean Koontz. I love this book. The cover just sucks, but because it's like not wanting to show up. It's just shiny, really shiny, and it's not wanting to show up. There. Maybe if I just hold it like this. So this book is about this guy, Odd Thomas, who can see ghosts and spirits, and no one else can see them, and these spirits can't talk, but he kind of can communicate with them in a way, like he's realized that some of them just want to hang out, like Elvis's ghost. And I really enjoyed this book. It is one of the first Dean Koontz books I read, and then I fell into like a Dean Koontz wormhole. He also sees these things called bodaks, which in my mind are kind of like dementors, and when he sees a whole bunch of them gathering around, he knows something terrible is about to go down, and he starts seeing a whole bunch, more than he's ever seen before, gathering around, and he has to try and find a way to stop whatever is going to happen, but he doesn't know what's going to happen. And good book. I think it's a good start to getting into Dean Koontz if you want to. I think this is a good starting place. There's a lot of books in the Odd Thomas series, so it's a nice continuation thing that if you want to keep going, if you want a new series to pick up, I would recommend this one. And let's get on with the first sentence. My name is Odd Thomas, though in this age, when fame is the altar at which most people worship, I am not sure why you should care who I am or that I exist. Huh. So, something about fame. I'm reading Grace and the Fever for the Biannual Bibliothon, and I kind of wish I had already finished it and knew whether or not I would want to recommend it, because I feel like this would be perfect since it's about a girl who's obsessed with a band, and it's like she's worshiping at their altar. But I guess I'll find something. I'll be back. So for this sentence, I decided to go with a celebrity memoir. Since it said fame, worshiping at their altar, I've decided to go with my favorite celebrity memoir that I've read so far, and that is Scrappy Little Nobody by Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick, otherwise known as the girl from Pitch Perfect. Hilarious. I actually listened to this book on audiobook, and she reads it, and her stories in this book are so funny. I don't know if it's because we're not that far apart in age that I just appreciated her memoir. I've read other celebrity memoirs. I have this thing for celebrity memoirs. I just really like them, and some of them, the celebrity's a little older than me. I can't really relate to a lot of the stuff they're saying, but Anna Kendrick's was hilarious. I loved it. I would definitely recommend everybody listen to it. I actually recommended my HR manager to listen to this one and to Lorelai Gilmore's, and I preferred this one over. I called her Lorelai Gilmore, but her name's Lauren Graham. I preferred this one over Lauren Graham's, and my HR manager, actually preferred Lauren Graham's over hers because she related more to Lauren Graham. So I thought that was funny. But yes, this is the last book. But this is technically the last book. This is my 6th book. But while I was looking for this book, I came across another book that I really enjoy, and I realized could have easily went for answer number 2, the step monster sentence, instead of Ella Enchanted. And I just thought, I was thinking about it, and I thought it was so funny because if I had chosen this book, my whole list of recommendations would have been completely different, because the first sentence wouldn't have led me to fairies. It would have led me to something completely different. And I just want to mention this book because it's another book I love, and like I said, I could have easily chosen this book if I hadn't seen Ella Enchanted first when I was looking for that. And that is Chinese Cinderella, The True Story of an Unwanted Daughter by Adeline Yen Ma. And this book I first read in 6th grade, and I fell in love with it. And then I ended up buying it in high school when I went on a class trip, and me and some of my friends stopped at the bookstore, and I saw this one, and I was like, I have to get it because I've loved it and I've been wanting to reread it. I've been thinking about it for a while. This is one of the books that always comes back into my mind. So this book is about Adeline, who grows up in a powerful, rich family, but her mom died giving birth to her, and so her family considers her bad luck, and she's kind of treated differently. And then her dad remarried, and her siblings are like treated to dismay by the new mom. Well, her half-brother and half-sister are spoiled, and she's treated the worst. Like, you could tell they don't want her. There's this scene in here with Lemonade that to this day I can't stop thinking about. There's also like a little duck or chicken. A chick? I think it's a little chick. And I always think about that. I always think about the first time she makes sushi. I always think about, there's this omelet they make using like all the eggs. Her brothers make it. I just always think about this book. I think about, she loves the book A Little Princess, and she ends up like borrowing it from a friend and copying it word for word. And this book, this is my bonus recommendation. Chinese Cinderella. Yes. So those are all the books that I am recommending with this kind of creative book recommendation. I don't know how creative it was, but it was the idea I came up with, and I was just like, let's go with this. So click the like button if you like this video. Click subscribe if you want to see more of this face in your feed, and I'll see you guys probably tomorrow because I'm going to try and film all the videos, but we'll see. Bye.